Hello and welcome back as we continue learning about how to use GitHub Copilot as a programming tool. In this lesson, we'll be creating a static website served up with the Express.js server that we created in the prior lesson using GitHub Copilot, and that is currently serving up the dummy data that we used in the prior lesson before that. So I think I'm doing a pretty good job of cumulatively building on these things. All of the coding samples will be available for you, or they very well should be available for you. So please look at those coding samples if you're having any trouble, if you're getting lost, because I know I'm doing this quick as we move forward, and go ahead and create a index HTML that's served up with this server using our starter data. All right, so I'm going to exit this, and we can... What are we going to do? So we actually want to take this and close that for now. And I'm going to say, hey, code 35. Right now, the directory is currently like this, but we don't want it to be like that. We want it to be like this, where we have the same data that we generated before, the same index with a Express application, package, JSON, everything is the same, okay? But what's missing, you might notice, is that git ignore. All right, so we need to touch a .git ignore, and then we also need to run npm install. That way it installs all of the packages, all of our dependencies right here, like the Express and NodeMon that we know that we're going to be using. And after we've done that, then we can type npm start. Okay, server is listening on port 8080, and we can make sure that's true. Cannot get it because it should be / hello world, where we also have data. Perfect, just like our last lesson, no problem. Okay, so what we need to do now is actually come over here. I'm going to switch these out. As a matter of fact, I've lost all my screens. I'm going to switch these out, and we will begin coding to where we create... I want to actually... Nope, that's the wrong one. Isn't it? Yes, that's the one I wanted. So inside of here, I'm going to create a brand new index.html page. And I'm going to use my emit exclamation point, that emit abbreviation, where it's going to give us a full static website. And we'll just call it a static data site for now. With something like, hey, hi, I'm here to render in the browser. Okay. So now we have this full index.html, a very basic web page that can be spun up in the browser. But how do we actually get to it? I mean, of course, we could just double click it and open it, but we want our server to render it at an endpoint. All right, that includes this data. So let's work on that. So render index.html, we're prompting our GitHub Copilot companion and app.get at the home page, where it's going to say, hey, in the response send file of this underscore directory name that we're already in of our environment, / index.html. Okay. And that should be it. As a matter of fact, if we go back over here and we just hit localhost 8080, hi, I'm here to render in the browser. Perfect. That's awesome. Okay. Now we come over here and let's see how weird we can get with this. So inside of our body, we can write some script where no, we don't want an index.js. Okay. We're actually going to do this inside of here. Okay. And we want to fetch data from here. Let's remember it was localhost 8080 data. That's right. And render it in the browser. Okay. And we could even come over here and we will give this a div with an ID of root, or not, I'm sorry, div with an ID of root And that's where we'll be doing our DOM manipulation. So close this and fetch data and render in the browser. Oh. Fetch from localhost, then response, then data, and root append child. I think that should be good. So save, and then refresh. All right. It's giving us object, object, object. And so object, object, object. So each data for each. We want to delete this. Let's console log out our response. So then try that. Object, object, object. So root.inner.html, say just console log data. Refresh. We're actually in the browser here. So console, got an array. So copy object. Paste that object. And I'd actually select all of this. Because remember, it's all about giving your AI companion, you know, some context. And once they know what that object looks like, now they'll say, hey, data for each person, person div, enter HTML, their name, their title, their bio, they were born this day, they died that day, it's returning as a template literal before it appends the child. And then let's delete all that. That way it gets a better grip of where we're at. Ending the script tag, the body, the HTML. And where is our error at? Where did we go wrong? Div for each. All right. Nope. Root append child. Is it this? There we go. We found it. Make it prettier. And refresh. And huzzah. Okay. We have hi. We can get rid of that now. Where it says, hi, I'm here to render in the browser. Save that. Refresh. Now we've got Martin Luther King, the Reverend, with his bio, born in the day he was killed, or day they died. Hopefully we never lose Tom Hanks, and Mae Jemison is with us for a long time. But notice how it had a lot of difficulty fetching and rendering that data until I gave it the object, the array full of objects that we were actually working with. And then it said, oh, okay, it looks like that. Well, then I need to for each it like this. And then, boom, we're off to the races. So thank you so much for tuning in. That's everything we have, all of the practical coding demonstrations using GitHub Co-Pilot.